Diameter of a rivet hole is made larger than the diameter of the rivet by A 1.0 mm for rivet diameter up to 12 mm. B 1.5 mm for rivet diameter exceeding 25 mm. C 2.0 mm for rivet diameter over 25 mm. D none of these. The correct answer is 2.0 mm for rivet diameter over 25 mm. If D is the distance between the flange angles, the vertical stiffeners in plate girders without horizontal stiffeners are spaced at a distance not less than A 0.15 D, B 0.22 D, C 0.33 D, D 0.44 D. The correct answer is 0.33 D. A column splice is used to increase A. Length of the column, B. Strength of the column, C. Cross-sectional area of the column, D. None of these. The correct answer is length of the column. The ratio of the span L of the filler joists to the depth D from the underside of the joist to the top of the structural concrete should not exceed A. 60, B. 45, C. 35, D. 25. The correct answer is 35. The maximum tensile and compressive bending stress in extreme fibers of rolled I sections and channels on the effective section is A. 1500 kg cm2, B. 1420 kg cm2, C. 1650 kg cm2, D. 2285 kg cm2. The correct answer is 1650 kg cm2. Perforated cover plates are particularly suitable for built-up sections consisting of A. Channels placed back to back, B. Channels placed toe to toe, C. For angle box section, D. All the above. The correct answer is for angle box section. The tensile strength of mild steel for bolts and nuts should not be less than A. 32 kg mm2, B. 36 kg mm2, C. 40 kg mm2, D. 44 kg mm2. The correct answer is 44 kg mm2. With a percentage increase of carbon in steel decreases its A. Strength, B. Hardness, C. Brittleness, D. Ductility. The correct answer is ductility. In double lacing, the thickness T of flat lacing is A. T 140 at length between inner end rivets, B. T 150 at length between inner end rivets, C. T 160 at length between inner end rivets, D. T 170 at length between inner end rivets. The correct answer is T 160 at length between inner end rivets. When the length of a tension member is too long, A wire rope is used, B. A rod is used, C. A bar is used, D. A single angle is used. The correct answer is a bar is used. The allowable stress in axial tension is generally kept less if thickness of the member is more than A. 10 mm, B. 12 mm, C. 15 mm, D. 20 mm. The correct answer is 20 mm. The maximum permissible slenderness ratio of compression member carrying dead and superimposed load is A. 180, B. 200, C. 250, D. 300. The correct answer is 180. The safe working pressure for a spherical vessel 1.5 m diameter and having 1.5 cm thick wall not to exceed tensile stress 50 kg cm2 is A. 16 kg cm2, B. 18 kg cm2, C 20 kg cm2. D 22 kg cm2. The correct answer is 20 kg cm2. Look angle is A. Used with single angle member. B. Not used with double angle member. C. Used with channel member. D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. Effective length of a column effectively held in position and restrained in direction at both ends is A. L. B. 0.67 L. C. 0.85 L. D. 1.5 L. The correct answer is 0.67 L. IS 800-1971 recommends that in a splice plate the number of rivets carrying calculated shear stress through a packing greater than 6 mm thick is to be increased by 2.5 for every A. 1 mm thickness of packing. B. 1.50 mm thickness of packing. C. 2.0 mm thickness of packing. D. 2.50 mm thickness of packing. The correct answer is 2.0 mm thickness of packing. When the upper column does not provide full bearing area over lower column, the column splice is provided with the following assumption. A bearing plate is assumed as a short beam to transmit the axial load to the lower column section. B. Axial load is assumed to be taken by flanges. C. Load transmitted from the flanges of upper column and reactions from the flanges of lower columns are equal and form a couple. D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. For a steel member of slenderness ratio 350, the allowable stress is 76 kg cm2 if it is A. HTW grade of thickness exceeding 32 mm. B. HT grade of thickness exceeding 45 mm. C. HT grade of thickness not exceeding 45 mm. D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. The permissible stress to which a structural member can be subjected to is known as A. Bearing stress. B. Working stress. C. Tensile stress. D. Compressive stress. The correct answer is working stress. Tacking rivets in compression plates not exposed to the weather have a pitch not exceeding 300 mm or A. 16 times the thickness of outside plate. B. 24 times the thickness of outside plate. C. 32 times the thickness of outside plate. D. 36 times the thickness of outside plate. The correct answer is 32 times the thickness of outside plate. The effective length of a double angle strut with angles placed back to back and connected to both the sides of a gusset plate by not less than 2 rivets is A. 0.5 L. B. 0.67 L. C. 0.85 L. D. L. The correct answer is 0.85 L. According to the Unwins formula, if T is thickness of the plate in cm, the nominal diameter of the rivet is A. D. 1.91 T. B. D. 1.91 T2. C. D. 1.91 T. D. D. 1.91 T. The correct answer is D. 1.91 T. On eccentrically loaded columns, the equivalent axial load may be obtained by A. Adding the axial load, eccentric load, the product of the bending moment due to eccentric load and the appropriate bending factor. B. Adding the axial load and eccentric load and subtracting the product of bending moment and appropriate bending factor. C. Dividing the sum of axial load and eccentric load by the product of the bending moment and appropriate bending factor. D. None of these. The correct answer is adding the axial load, eccentric load, the product of the bending moment due to eccentric load and the appropriate bending factor. The distance between the outer faces of flanges of a plate girder is known as A. Overall depth, B. Clear depth, C. Effective depth, D. None of these. The correct answer is overall depth. To the calculated area of cover plates of a built-up beam, an allowance for rivet holes to be added is A. 10, B. 13, C. 15, D. 18. The correct answer is 13. The connection of one beam to another beam by means of an angle at the bottom and an angle at the top is known as A. Unstiffened seated connection, B. Stiffened seated connection, C. Seated connection, D. None of these. The correct answer is seated connection. Allowable working stress corresponding to the slenderness ratio of double angles placed back to back and connected to one side of a gusset plate is reduced to A. 50, B. 60, C. 70, D. 80. The correct answer is 80. Bulb angles are used in A. Column building, B. Bridge building, C. Ship building, D. Water tank building. The correct answer is ship building. Effective sectional area of a compression member is A. Gross sectional area of rivet hole, B. Gross sectional hours area of rivet hole, C. Gross sectional hours x area of rivet hole, D. Gross sectional hours area of rivet hole. The correct answer is gross sectional area of rivet hole. A fillet weld whose axis is parallel to the direction of the applied load is known as A. Diagonal fillet weld, B. End fillet weld, C. Side fillet weld, D. All the above. The correct answer is side fillet weld. Assuming the values of maximum deviation P and E to be 25 of the computed value of P and E respectively, the minimum value of the factor of safety is A. 1.00, B. 0.67, C. 1.67, D. 2.67. The correct answer is 1.67. In case horizontal stiffeners are not used, the distance between vertical legs of flange angles at the top and bottom of a plate girder is known as A. Overall depth, B. Clear depth, C. Effective depth, D. None of these. The correct answer is clear depth. Rolled steel angle sections are classified as A. Equal angles, B. Unequal angles, C. Bulb angles, D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. Factor of safety is the ratio of A. Yield stress to working stress, B. Tensile stress to working stress, C. Compressive stress to working stress, D. Bearing stress to working stress. The correct answer is yield stress to working stress.